Hello, my name is Brian Burnham, and this is my leadership goals presentation for our ePortfolio for my master's degree in educational leadership at Fort Hays State. Right here on the front title page, I've got a picture of my family, my nieces and nephew, picture of my sister and myself here on the right with her daughter, my niece Rosie. The guys that I coach with, we won the state championship this past season. Here's the winning picture. This picture was taken the year after we went to the state championship game 2 years ago and lost. So we have a silver ball here, and then this is where we finished the job and won it all last year in 2020. Here's a picture of our home stadium. It's probably the best that it ever looked. That's why I included it. And then this is just a picture of me on the sideline doing whatever it is I'm doing. I'm not 100% sure. My experience is pretty wide ranged. I've been doing this for 17 years. I just completed technically just completed my 18th year because I started midterm. I have a bachelor's of science in special education with a focus in mild to moderate disabilities. I graduated with the class of 2003 from Middle Tennessee State University. I have currently taught at 4 schools. I did one spring semester in a small district. Directly after graduation, I taught from January to May at Community Elementary. I did resource pull-out math, English, language arts. From there, I moved on to the school I was coaching football at already prior to while I was in college. At Blackman High School, this is in Middle Tennessee. These are all in Middle Tennessee. Blackman High School is in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, about 25 miles outside of Nashville. I taught there for 5 years. The first year I did resource, pull-out math and English. And then for the next 4 years, we went full inclusion. And I taught Algebra 1, Geometry, World History, U.S. History, and Physical Science. From there, I moved on to Siegel High School, and I was there for 5 years as well, teaching what we call CDC, Comprehensive Development Classroom. Some schools call it Functional Living or Functional Students. I was there for 5 years. And then I moved from there on to Summit, and I've been at Summit, just finished my 7th year. We're going into year 8, coming up in the fall. The first year I taught Inclusion Algebra 2, World History. Then the next 6 years I was in Transition 1, which is also those life skills functional living students, also known as CDC, where I came from. However, next year in 2021-2022 school year, I will be moving back into the inclusion classroom, and I have 4 world history classes, math intervention class, and a personal finance class. So I'm looking forward to that. My personal goals and my professional goals are very similar. First thing I'd like to do from a personal standpoint, just because I got divorced a couple years ago, I'd like to get back on that dating social scene train and possibly meet somebody new. Also, I'm overweight. I'd like to, for my own health and well-being down the road, I'd like to lose 100 pounds in the next year to year and a half. I lost 40 and then I put a little bit back on, so I'm currently, teetering on that yo-yo. As far as coaching goes, I'd like to be a coordinator and or a head coach within the next 5 years. I do have a potential opportunity to coach in college. The money's right, and it has to be worth me walking away from my retirement situation here in the Tennessee Consolidated Retirement System, but we'll see how it goes. It will freeze and I can come back to it, down the road. So there's possibilities there. The next 6 to 10 years, I'd like to win a state championship as a head coach. I have accomplished that goal as an assistant coach, but I would like to do it as a head coach. And then beyond 10 years, at some point, I'd like to be an administrator. That's why I'm working on this degree, not only for the salary increase, but at some point, the last 5 years of my career, I would like to be an administrator so that I can max out my retirement and kind of ride off into the sunset and hopefully leave the education system better than when I found it. Also, potentially, I might double dip and earn some money teaching and coaching in college after I were to retire from either teaching or being an administrator. There are some opportunities in the state of Tennessee where you can retire from one and then pick up a salary in another if it's a private entity. So there's possibilities out there. We'll see how it goes. Professional goals, very similar. Like I said, I would like to finish this program of study and achieve my master's degree in educational leadership by the end of the spring semester 2023. Coaching advancement, as I said, I want to be a coordinator and or a head coach within the next 5 years and or possibly coach in college. Also would like to win a championship as a head coach and potentially become an administrator. Obviously, I can't be an administrator in a larger district and coach. You can do that in some of the smaller districts around here. But I'd like to be an administrator after I'm done coaching. But I've got at least 10 years, maybe longer, before I'm even probably closer to 15 or 20 before I'm done coaching. I just don't see what else I would be doing if I wasn't coaching. That's kind of where I'm at right now in my head. And then beyond 10 years, like I said, I want to be an administrator the last 5 years of my career, capitalize on my retirement, double dip if possible. Why did I choose Fort Hays State? Well, both my parents received their bachelor's degrees from Fort Hays State. I was born in Kansas, so I'm proud to be able to say that I'm going to receive my graduate degree from an institution of my birth state. Also, it's cost efficient. Honestly, it was the best value I could find for the online learning stuff that I needed living here outside of Nashville, Tennessee. The remote learning flexibility of the program, given my schedule with teaching and coaching, is also extremely beneficial. My initial expectations, when I came into this program, I was completely intimidated. I wasn't sure I wanted to actually start, given the fact that I was starting so late. I was more than halfway through my teaching career in terms of when I'm retirement eligible. I've been very happy with the support I have received from my professors so far. Special shout out to Dr. Moody. You've answered every single question I've had with care, promptness, specificity, and you've allowed me to feel comfortable to continue to asking questions if and when I have them. As of now, I'm motivated and excited to keep learning and ultimately finish my master's. I'm not quite to the point where I can see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel, so it still feels like a very daunting task, but I am in a much more positive frame of mind than I was 3 or 4 months ago. Thanks, guys.